Welcome back to the grind. In this video, we're going to start by talking about flak mechanics and then a little bit about how to blink and stutter. Flak mechanics are important when understanding how to approach and manage a base, especially in the context of blinking and stuttering. Now keep in mind, everything I'm sharing with you now applies to Island 3. And it's different on each island. After lots of discussion with other people, I understand flaks to be separated into early and delayed firing. And this is different for each flak and in different positions. Here you see the dark and ice flak firing immediately upon facing the island, and then the fire flak shortly after. The general rule is that a flak in the front row fires early and a flak in the back row is delayed. But here you can see the ice flak firing early from the back and the dark flak firing delayed from the front. That is because the dark flak has a very short range, so only fires early in the front left position. In the back, it will be very delayed. And then any other flak in the back row will fire delayed. And again, the ice flak is the only exception. Another unique mechanic to the ice flak is that the super shot has a shorter range than the regular shot. So you can see I blinked the first shot, but the ice flak is not showing the defender icon until the second shot of the ice flak. So this came as a surprise to me. I wasn't aware of this, and it is an important detail when planning an attack. So I wanted to test this out. So obviously the front ice flak fires a super shot right away. A back ice flak alone actually fires it right away as well, but when there are towers in the front, you can see the second shot is where the super shot is activated. So now we're going to talk about blinking, which is basically just using a spell to avoid damage before it hits you, like cloaking or using time shift for Hasset. And we'll go over some flak mechanics as well in this, but you can see you want to use your spell right as you see the animation forming in the mouth of the flak. And you can see I think I dodged 4 shots in a row, but this time I stayed in the cloak too long, so when I came out there wasn't enough time to get my cloak back off cooldown before I was hit by the Flak's shot. Stuttering is a bit more complicated, and we'll go through a lot of clips to review this, but this is where you use your spell such as cloak or time shift right before it's cancelled by a blue mage, but after the early firing Flaks recognize you so you can dodge their initial shots. Before the initial stutter, you have to fire your either destruction spell or sand spell for Hasset, and then immediately after the blue mage is destroyed or disabled, you use your spell again to avoid the second shots. When the blue mage is in the back, you can actually get close enough that the back flaks will recognize you before you shift. So we're going to look at a few examples with back blues using Kulissid and Hasset, and then we'll look at some front blues with different setups. So here we have 3 early firing flaks and a back blue. So we're going to siphon strike the back blue mage, and then we'll dodge the initial shots and then have it available again to dodge the second dark flak shot. But not all flaks have a slow enough fire rate to dodge 2 shots in a row. But you can see in this clip, the blood mist was available before the fire flak shot hit me. I was just too slow. When you only have delayed flaks to deal with, you don't technically have to stutter. You just have to sand the tower early enough so that by the time it's disabled, you can blink the delayed shots. Front blues are more challenging, but in this clip I'm just planning to dodge the delayed shots, as you can see, because the cooldown doesn't allow me to do both. And then after blinking the dark flaks and destroying it, I start to blink about every other ice flak shot. Here we have 2 early flaks and a front blue, so I have to stutter. Right as the dragon stops turning is the timing I use. Right after he stops turning, you use your blue spell to trigger the flak shots before the spell is disabled by the blue mage. Now here we have an early and a delayed flak, but I can kill the dark flak before it fires, so then I just have to worry about stuttering the fire flak, and then I blink it a few times as well. And being able to blink multiple fire flak shots depends on the runes that a base has. So now using Hasset, we're going to look at a front blue and early flak, and you can see in slow motion, as soon as you stop turning, you sand and shift, and then you can shift again before getting hit by a second shot from the dark flak. Now when you have a front blue and only delayed flaks, you can sand the blue first and then shift before the delayed shots hit you. Here again with a front blue and 2 early flaks, I was able to stutter the first shots, and it looks like I was able to blood mist before that ice flak hit me, but I was too slow. Here we have Hasset against a front blue and multiple delayed flaks. You can see after sanding, he's able to blink all 3 of those flak shots. Now let's look at the setup that I struggle with the most, which is a front blue with early and delayed flaks, because I always have trouble shifting again in time. And you can see that I just barely missed the second shift. This was the only example I was successful with when looking for this specific setup. But let's review the clip from ProudEnemy again. And let's watch in slow motion. You can see the stutter happens as soon as he hits the end of his turn and moves forward. And then immediately after the blue stops disabling it, he shifts again to avoid the fire flak shot. So I really hope this video was helpful to understand some basic mechanics of Flaks and Hunters and how to blink and stutter. I'm very thankful to those who helped me in making this video and understanding Flaks, as well as learning and practicing how to blink and shutter more effectively, which I'm still working at. So good luck practicing, and I hope this helped.